Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle Fondin and I'm the author of the new book, Heal Yourself, A Return to Wholeness, the Integration of Body, Mind, Soul, and Spirit. I'm also the author of Twin Flame Romance, The Journey to Unconditional Love. All of my books are available in paperback, Kindle, and Audible books. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for subscribing below. Click on that bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. I do readings, 30, 60, and 90-minute readings, Twin Flame Romance, Life Path and Purpose. You can book that at my website, michellefondinauthor.com. This week and this week only, I am offering a promo code for $40 off the Twin Flame Divine Feminine Bootcamp number 1 or number 2. If you've already done Bootcamp 1, the promo code is April Fool, all caps, and the links are below to register. This is Twin Flame Questions Answered, where I answer a twin flame question that you guys have given to me either in a video comment or on the community page or in an email or in a personal reading. So today's question is, can I or should I date someone else while on the twin flame journey? This is a really, really good question. And it's a question that I get quite frequently, not only in the personal readings, but in the live streams that happen on Saturdays, as well as on the comments. And also I asked specifically what your twin flame questions were on the community page a few months back. And this is one of the questions that I got, but it's a very common question. So the answer is not super simple. So I'm going to try to break down the answer for you if this is something that you've actually been wondering. Now, in the beginning, when I was first on the twin flame journey, and if you view some of my earlier videos dating back to maybe February, March, April, or May of 2019, you might have heard me say many times that you need to let go of a karmic relationship or you need to not date while on the twin flame journey. And the reason for this is that I was in early stages of the journey myself. And so the messages that I was getting at that time was to not date. So I just transferred that to you guys via YouTube. And throughout the years, the answer to this has transformed not only for my personal life throughout those years, but also in the twin flame readings that I do and coaching that I do one-on-one. And the answers are very different and they do vary. So again, I'm going to break this down for you. So hopefully you can find the right answer that applies to you and your situation. And of course, if you really have a very specific question about dating while on the twin flame journey that pertains to your particular situation, the best way you can get an exact answer is to get a reading so that you can check in with your angels and your guides to get a precise answer that is specific to your situation at that specific time. Now, the caveat is the specific time, because as I have noticed throughout my twin flame journey, and as I have noticed through others' twin flame journeys for the clients that I coach on a consistent basis and have coached for the past year or two, the answer could change based on timing. So the first thing that I want to say is that if you are in full-on contact with your twin flame, divine masculine or divine feminine, but typically this question is mostly addressed by divine feminines in this collective, whether you are male or female. And if you are in full-on contact with your twin flame, divine masculine or divine feminine, and let's say you guys are meeting from time to time, you're talking frequently, you're texting frequently, there's a lot of contact there, I would say, if at all possible, refrain from dating anybody else during this phase, because typically if there's a lot of contact with your twin flame, then your twin flame is actually trying to work things through with you. Whether they have called this just a friendship or whether they've called it a dating relationship or an actual relationship, in any stages, I would say it's best that you just kind of refrain or sit back and watch and see where your twin flame is going with this personal contact with you. Again, if it's very frequent, if it's very infrequent, then that answer might change. If your twin flame is reaching out to you every 6 months, then I would say that is not frequent contact. If they're just saying, hey, how are you every 6 months, or they're posting something on a social media, posting on your page, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat, if they're just commenting on something, I would say that's not frequent reaching out or frequent communication. But what I'm truly talking about is frequent, they're making the effort, there's a back and forth, and it's not super uneven where you feel like you're reaching out every single time and they're just responding to you. So if that's the case, if there's a lot of frequent back and forth and a combination of virtual communication with phone conversations or video chat conversations and or in-person communications, I would say just pull back and hold back on dating apps or dating other people, just so that you can see where this is going. Now, if it has reached a point, if you're in communication with your twin, but it's reached a point where they have set the boundary, they have set the barrier with you 1, 2, 3, or 4 times, where you've tried to see if this is going to move forward into relationship territory, and they've put the brakes on it for any number of reasons, but they've told you, like, no, I don't want that. I just want to remain friends. I just want to keep things casual. Like, I do not want to take things forward. In that case, I would say that kind of gives you carte blanche to kind of explore whether or not you might be ready for the dating situation with somebody else. The second scenario that I'm going to present here really comes as you are entering into the healing phase of your twin flame journey. This typically happens after the initial contact with your twin flame, or initial dating phase, or initial relationship phase with your twin flame, where you were in that initial phase, you got triggered, your twin got triggered, and then you guys went into some sort of separation after that. Now, whether this happened as a total separation or whether it happened as an on-again, off-again separation, and I'm going to post the video right above on the on-again, off-again separation so that you can see what the difference might be. But if this has happened and it's toward the beginning of your twin flame journey, or beginning-ish, because I would say the first 6 months to a year is still the beginning of the twin flame journey, if that is your case, I would say hold off on dating, because this is where you enter into the healing phase. And what does that mean? It means that you really need to start exploring within yourself why you were being triggered by your twin, why you had a tendency to not get along with them or have a lot of miscommunication with them, or just ruffle each other's feathers very often, and having those periods of like dark night of the soul where you were crying uncontrollably or unable to control your emotions. That is a huge indicator that it's time to enter into that healing phase. It's time to take boot camps number 1 and number 2. The links are below, but seriously, I mean, those boot camps are designed to help you through the healing process of your journey, because it's not exactly time for you to be entering into another dating relationship or a relationship itself. Because what's going to happen is the reason why your twin flame triggered you in the first place, and again, I will post the trigger video right up here, but one of the reasons that your twin flame triggers you in the first place is so that you can recognize your wounds. It's so that you can recognize the areas in your life where you actually need to heal. So if you ignore those just because you were triggered, and then you're feeling sad and depressed and lonely because your twin flame has pulled back from you, and you enter into another dating situation with somebody else, what's going to happen? You're not going to learn from that. You're not going to take those lessons learned and really work and explore through them by yourself, and just entering into those childhood wounds, entering into those relationship wounds, entering into those triggers, and seeing where they come from and how you can heal from them. So a lot of times, even if a personal reading is done at this phase in the game, your angels will actually tell you no, like, no, you cannot date. It's not possible for you to date because it's time for you to heal. It's actually time for you to explore those triggers, explore those wounds. And it's not time to be bringing your baggage into another relationship. Now, the third scenario I'm going to give to you is something that actually happened to me early on in the process. And I would say this happened probably like even as far as like a year to 18 months inside of the twin flame journey. And when my twin and I went into separation, and even right before we went into separation, where we weren't dating, but we were still in contact with one another, but not romantically involved, my twin would appear to me all over the place. So my twin would appear to me in dreams with his voice. He would tell me things. And especially if I tried to date somebody else, lo and behold, somehow my twin would show up, and it would be crazy because I would be on a date with another person or hanging out with another person, and I would hear my twin's voice saying something to me like, stop hanging out with this person, or enough is enough, or something like that. And I'd be like, what the heck is going on? And it wasn't that my twin was actually ready to come back to me at that time, because he didn't. It was that he was kind of telling me, or his higher self was kind of telling me, hey, now's not the time for you to be trying out dating. Now is the time for you to be turning inward and go to your healing journey, because you're not done yet. So a lot of times twin flames will feel extremely guilty. They'll hear the voice of their twin. They'll feel their twin's presence if they're trying to date somebody else. And I would say that is because either your twin is feeling you, which oftentimes twin flames will feel each other if they're with somebody else. But in addition to that, it's usually the grander message that you still need to heal. And that's why your twin is coming to you to tell you that, is like, hey, watch out. You can't be with this other person. And they don't tell you why, but it comes off as sort of like a jealousy thing. But it's really not that. It's that your twin flame's higher self is really guiding you in a better direction that's going to help you toward healing. Now, the fourth scenario that I really want to discuss is when you have done your healing, you've been on the twin flame journey for a while, there hasn't been a lot of communication between you and your twin flame, or maybe your twin flame is coming in with little bits, little what I call breadcrumbs, little breadcrumbs of communication, but that they haven't really taken the relationship any further than that. They're just kind of checking in to say, hey, how are you? And then they disappear for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 10 months. And you have been on this twin flame journey for a little bit. You've done your healing work. You've done both boot camps. You've explored your inner childhood wounds. You're not really getting triggered when your twin flame comes back to you, even with the hey, how are yous. You're not really feeling triggered much at all, not even from past relationships. So when you start to feel this smoothness in yourself, you feel the self-love, you feel the self-care, you've worked through your childhood stuff, your childhood wounds, the dark night of the soul, and you're feeling pretty good. I mean, you're actually just feeling really good. You're feeling content by yourself. You're feeling really good by yourself. You're like happy every day. You're waking up joyful, whether or not your twin flame is with you. And you're like, whatever. You know, if they come back, they come back. If they don't, they don't. It doesn't really matter. But I'm feeling really good about myself. I would say it's at that point that you would have the green light to start dating somebody else. Because you're coming at the dating situation from a place of serenity. You're coming at the dating situation from a place of wholeness within. And it's not because you're trying to make your twin jealous. It's not because you're trying to ignore your own wounds or your triggers. And it's not because you're just trying to fill some sort of void that is there because your twin isn't there. So I would say if you are going at it from that space of wholeness and like total contentment, like I'm just so happy. I've been working on myself for so long. I've explored all my inner childhood wounds. I've explored my triggers. I've explored the past. I've done all the work. Like I've been doing this and I'm feeling really, really good. You can consult with your angels and guides, get a personalized reading, maybe to make sure. But you can also ask your angels just to send in a soul person to come in and spend some time with you, to come in and date you. And I feel like that is the most beautiful expression of loving yourself, because many twin flames will say, well, you idiot, you shouldn't be dating anybody else. There should be no one in your life but your twin. And believe me, I've heard this. People have posted this. And one thing that I really want to say in support of all of you that have been really doing the grunt work, the hardcore digging your knuckles in the dirt work to try to help to heal yourself, is that if you're truly loving yourself, if you're coming from a place of serenity and wholeness, and you're really truly like God unconditional love for yourself, like you're taking that love from your creator and bringing it down to you, then why wouldn't you allow yourself that? Why wouldn't you allow yourself the pleasure of being with another person, having that companionship and that love and that affection, the physical touch, the words of affirmation, like all of the things that you crave, as long as you're doing it from a good space? And I would say it's kind of like, I really want a Tesla, right? And so like, it's something that I've been looking at. It's something that I've been starting to save for. And I've been dreaming about this Tesla and looking at Teslas every time I see them and going to the Tesla webpage and kind of fantasizing about the kind of Tesla I want. But it's kind of like if I did that and I have my vision, my eye on the prize, so to speak, and I'm like, yeah, I know I'll get the Tesla. You know, I'm saving for it. I'm not going to be impatient. When the timing is right, the timing is right. But meanwhile, I'm not going to say I'm not going to drive any car until I get my Tesla, because that would be totally ridiculous. It would just be ridiculous for me to say I'm never going to drive any other car until I get the Tesla. Because why would I deprive myself of that? Why would I deprive myself of like something that's basic, needed, and functional, right? And the second thing that some twin flames will say to this end is, I feel like I'm cheating the other person. I feel like I'm cheating the other person of having a full-on relationship when I know that my twin flame is going to come back to me. And what I would say to that end is that only God knows when your twin flame will be full-on ready to come back in a full-time relationship with you. Only God knows. So it's not something that you can exactly predict. When we do personalized readings, we try to take a deep dive into like looking at maybe the signs that might point us in that direction. But in reality, God is the only one who knows. So as I say, and I say this often on my podcast, when we do the Patreon podcast, is like, it's kind of like having that long-term vision of this is what I would really like to have in my life. And this is what I believe my divine destiny is. But we don't know the when. So it could be one day, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. The promise is there, but the time is not there. So like I said, some twin flames might not come into reunion until they're 80. You know what I'm saying? Like they could be both 80 years old and they've had other relationships, other lives, other families, and then they find each other again when they're 80. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sit back and just tell yourself, I'm not going to be in any relationships whatsoever? I'm already done healing. I'm in a good place. I'm loving myself, but I'm going to withhold from having any relationships in my life until I'm 80. I'm not saying, and I know some of you are going to like totally panic. I'm not saying it's going to happen when you're 80, but what I'm saying to you is like, have the vision, have the outlook, pray about it, ask God if this is in your divine destiny to be with this person who is your twin flame. But then you have to go and live your life. You can't be waiting on the sidelines. And it's just like your twin flame, divine masculine, and it usually is the divine masculine. Just as they are living their own lives, so should you. Your twin flame wouldn't want it any other way, as long as you're healed, right? As long as you're working on your stuff. Because of course, if you are more awakened, then why wouldn't you work on your stuff? Because that's what you're supposed to be doing. So I hope this has been helpful. And I know it's a very highly charged and highly debated topic. I would say in the comment section below, please be kind to one another. Please be kind to me. Don't shoot the messenger. But everyone's situation is so different. So again, I would say, if you're really unclear as to whether or not this is right for you, then get a personalized reading. And then you can really clear up whether or not it's time for you to date someone else. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Click on that bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this video with other twin flames, and thank you so much for your support of my YouTube channel. You can buy a book or 2 or 3. You can also pledge your support on Patreon. www.patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin, and I will see you in the next video.